I didn't unmute it, damn it. Okay, let's try that again. Lenovo N22 80S6 has a blue screen of death error upon login. I always forget to unmute. That's the thing. It's real, it exists. Lenovo N22 80S6 boot loops at login, or restarts, blue screen of death, and then restarts. BW, it sounds like something to do with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, or it could be severely infected. The user wants to move away from this to a little bit better computer. I told them about some of my concerns about the computer, what the potential problems could be. We're going to open that up, and if it holds true, we'll check it out. Generally, these may have some other options, being that it came with Windows 10 Pro. This customer wants their data, and you can't boot into any type of Windows. You may be able to boot with some rescue tool. We haven't tried that, but all they really want is the data, and I don't feel like beating my head against the wall trying to figure that out for hours and hours. We're going to do it quick, the best way I can. I often compare these computers to I knew we still had it floating around. I often compare those computers to something like these, the HP Streams that came in dark blue, purple, light blue, maybe a color of green or two. They're around the same size, but they probably have a few things upgraded, these Lenovo's. I'm not saying they don't, they're complete junk, but going by what's here, we're going to say that there's no cooling fan in it. We don't have any vents to cool it. These are for the speakers, it looks like. So there's going to be no cooling. Probably no spinny hard drive, maybe a solid state hard drive, but I doubt it. It's more likely going to be, it's a 64 gig model. They have a 32 gig and a 64 gig one of these. More than likely it's a NAND chip soldered to the motherboard with no way to replace the RAM, no way to do much of anything. So let's get this person's data and bring it back, at least in a usable form for another computer. Alright, we'll zoom that in a little, get in on this thing, and start this repair. Let me go back. I need to see my destinations. Can I fix it? Can I fix it? Thanks, Dunny. Well, we don't know yet. We're going to check it out. We're actually going to find out. It could be doubtful. I mean, I at least remembered a few seconds in to unmute the mic, so. I think a worthy investment would be one of the micro electric screwdrivers. It's like kind of like a big, like the big pencils that you let kindergartners write with, or kids that are learning to write. You know, something a little bigger than a Sharpie. Yeah, get one of them that will has power and turn these screws out in an instant. But it's going to be debatable. Can we fix this thing? Can we retrieve the data? If my thinking's right, and I haven't really been inside too many of these smaller 11, 12, 13-inch computers like this, but if my thinking's right, we're either going to be stuck with no option or a goofy option. Some of them do have hard drives, most don't. It's a literally like eMMC is what the drive is considered, and that's because it's a, like I said, a little NAND chip soldered to the motherboard, and that's where your OS is. If you luck out with one of the 32 gig models, after you get Windows 10 and it's installed and updated, you're basically out of room. You might be able to squeeze Office on there. The 64 gig model, you'll run out of room pretty quick with that too. But let's get in this now and see what we have. What does Flat Earth Santa have in store for us inside of this laptop? We don't know, but we're gonna definitely scope it out. So get yourself a pry tool. You may need a skinny metal one to start cracking it open, or possibly a guitar pick. Do we have one of those? We do indeed. This is going to open on the bottom versus the top. And we're already making headway. Alright, let's see what we have inside this thing. Let's take a look-see around the board. Okay, before we do anything, to be safe, we're going to unplug our battery. There's our main battery out of the way. And we need the BIOS. We're probably going to need to get into the BIOS, so we'll unplug that and reset the RTC as well. What else do we have? We can see we've got M.2 Wi-Fi, not a bad option. Newer card. No little plastic sleeve that mounts down with the screw or a sticker to stick down the, what is that? The antenna wires. So, battery, another M.2 slot. We could run into some problems there, but let's go a little further with this. We just cracked the warranty seal. It looked a little ripped, possibly from a toll. No fan. I'm also going to note that we have no actual fan on this thing. Nope. What are those? Screws for the CPU, and we need a different driver for them. We'll get a Phillips, what is it, 00, triple. It's a small one. There looks to be 3 of these. And let's get a closer look at the motherboard. So no hard drive, no fan. Do we have copper under this plate? We don't know yet. What is that? That would make life so much nicer. Those electric screwdrivers are nice. Yes, they are. Someday, Flat Earth Santa will bring me one. Guaranteed. If he shows up with it, I'm going to get him on camera and prove the world wrong. Alright, no thermal paste. We have a silicone pad. Super I/O chip. Our RAM. It's right here, so what is that, 4 gigs, I think? Either 4 or 8, probably 4. If there's some on the other side, I would be inclined to say 8. We're not going that far. We got a what is that, SK Hynix. And it's an SK Hynix chip there, so that's probably our 64 gig right here. 64 gigabyte eMMC drive, or 32, whatever this model was. I think the guy said 64. He wants his data. Okay, so we have some options. We're gonna have to put our heatsink back on. We don't want it to overheat, and we'll keep the battery and the RTC unplugged for now. Let's get this back in. So we do have an M.2 slot there, and if we can't boot to Windows, we'll show you what this does, and then we'll power down and attempt getting the data. We do have a login. I don't think any of the passwords are right, so that's why I tend to think it is infected pretty bad. 1, 2, 3. I don't think we don't need those for the time being. Those 2 screws. We have these holding down around the CPU. Let's get this thing turned on. First and foremost, AC adapter in. Dim the light. How about we kill the light for now? Turn this guy on. Okay, so it is in the process. Appears to be on. Is on, appears to be on, 2 different things. What am I missing? Why is it not? System reconfiguring. It will restart soon. Probably the RTC that we unplugged. We'll let this boot up. We'll see if we can throw it up on screen. I don't know, since we can't get into Windows and set up the display, but we can surely try. Yeah, it's not going to send it out, not yet. So, Lenovo, please wait. The system should boot up, get to a login, and we probably, I didn't even think about that, we're going to have somebody's name there. So, just so we're not doxing people out, let's, what do we get? What do we do? How do we do this? Post it? Post it would work if we had one. Had one such thing. There's the sticky glue. Alright, so please wait. That's as far as we've gotten so far. We do have a password to type in also. Okay. Alright, there's... Okay, it looks like your Windows didn't load correctly. Let's go for restart my PC. We're just in the Windows recovery environment now. We're going to restart it and see what happens. Definitely not the fastest computer by any means, but it is a computer nonetheless. Light, easy to carry, something you'd take, out to the beach, maybe on a plane. But nothing you're going to get any real work done with unless you're emailing and browsing, online. They're getting better. This ultra light, ultra thin technology is getting better, but still, I don't know. They're kind of in a class on their own, these notebooks. Opinion. Alright, please wait. We have a castle with some hedges. Let's hit the button and bring up. Okay, so we have a name. And we're going to take and put our password in. We'll try that. Password is incorrect, so let's try another one. And it stopped typing somewhere along the line. Is it freezing or is it a touch screen and I can't be touching it? The password hint is cat. Morris, Felix, Garfield. Garfield, it has to be Garfield. Okay, so we're, at this point we're locked up. We don't have no mouse. But we want to get this data. I want to see the blue screen error if it's going to exhibit itself. Give me a moment to get a mouse plugged in. Let's see if the computer is actually frozen, or do we have... Yeah, we don't have any. Just in case, we'll try both. Okay, so at this point we're going to pull the battery, or pull the power cord, plug it back in, and let's go again for booting this thing up. Alright. What did I do? Did I not? Yeah, well, we'll start recording from now on out. I thought it recorded automatically. I guess not. Okay, we got a spinner, finally. Like I said, they're not fast. We should get up to at least being able to type the password in. And I think he did say, alright, we have a mouse working now. Let's move that out of the way and try typing this password again. Password is incorrect, so we're going to give it another shot. He assures us this is the password. Mouse disappeared. We're locked up. We've got nothing, no options. Nothing to do. So, infected, problem with the NAND, I don't know. But, like I said, we're moving away from this computer, so we're going to get data. Alright? We have some options. We don't have a SATA interface to plug in a hard drive. What we do have is an M.2 drive, but we need to get into the BIOS to configure it. Let's go ahead and plug our little, we'll leave our battery unplugged. We're going to try an M.2 NVMe drive. We could probably look and see what this thing works with. A little loose, not a massive fan of how tight that is being held in, but let's try and get this thing into the BIOS and configure it. Do you see that? What's the BIOS key? Escape, delete maybe. F2. Alright, into the BIOS we went. Okay, so looking here, we can see we have the UUID, basically serial number identifier for the onboard Hynix 64. It's okay, it is a 64 gig chip. Let's go over. Wow. So it may be locking up even at this point. Doesn't seem like it. Okay, well, just in case we got a keyboard problem, we're going to plug in our external keyboard as well. Wouldn't that be funny if that was it? Bad keyboard. No, we are indeed locked up completely. Utterly, completely. Nothing, no way, no how, no options. Oh, I could be lying. No, I lied. Keyboard wasn't on. Psych. Okay. So let's see what we can see. Okay, boot mode, legacy, UEFI first. USB hard drive, Windows boot manager, eMMC disk, Hynix. And what is this Windows boot manager? Nothing. And configuration, no place where it sees the actual hard drive, the M.2 drive. USB, Windows boot manager would be for the eMMC disk there. Alright. We don't need to save any changes. Option 2, let's downgrade from M.2 NVMe Samsung drive to a Crucial. What do we want to call this thing? Crucial M.2 SATA. It says right on it, so zoom in there, zoom it in a little further. So that M.2 SATA, you can read that there, and then you should be able to see that this is indeed an NVM2 or NVMe M.2, and then we have M.2 SATA. Two different things. Looking at them, they same form factor. Depending on what external housing you have, different ones will fit different drives. You can see the NVMe has one slot, M.2 SATA has two. Computer wasn't registering the single slot NVMe drive. Let's go with the M.2 and see what we can make of it. Now this is out of my system that I'm actually running this stream with right now. I cloned my system from this. I didn't want to wait like a week or till like the 26th of the month for one of these to ship, so we're going to try and use my system that I'm running the stream with. This is its boot drive. I cloned it off to a SATA SSD, so I'm booting my system from one of these, downgraded from this to this. So yeah, a little slower, a little less effective, but can we boot my drive in here if we let the devices get ready and do their thing? That's our hope. Let's save the data. M.2 SATA drive installed. In case we need to save any changes, we'll plug that battery in. Let's go for it. There should be a way to boot. We don't need the main system battery. But we do still want BIOS. I think we got it, did we? And we did. Okay, so far, what do we see? Same UUID number, but we have a hard disk now. Let's take note of this. Where we previously saw eMMC 64 gig drive, we have CT 500, so that is a 500 gig. That's the 500 gig Crucial MX500 drive that we just put in. It didn't read the 250. It still read the eMMC drive. Let's see what else we can see here. Okay, so we have another Windows, we have Windows Boot Manager, we have eMMC disk, Hynix 64 gig, ATA hard drive, CT500. So we're going to go down and we're going to hit F6, I think, and drag that up to position 1. We want to boot to that drive right there. That's the 500 gig Crucial MX 500 drive, or whatever it is. Legacy support, UEFI first. Let's go over to exit saving changes and boot up my computer. Now, potentially, I suppose we could do a cleanup this way. Okay, we could do a cleanup and boot to my drive and do a cleanup. Save the computer. Maybe he'll want something done with it. As far as I know, nothing. Just get the data and get out. Okay, let's do it. Unplug the mouse and keyboard for now and see if this acts like a normal computer. We're probably going to have a few moments of getting devices ready, of course. It's always got to get devices ready. What would you do without devices? I know what I would do. I'm just hoping for an answer from somebody else. Where are you? Little flash drive. Okay, so we're fixing some stuff. It's doing a disk check. That's probably on, well, what would that be on? His drive? Mine? Oh, it's over here, that's right. Okay, found it. Wish I would have saw this. We could have canceled it, but it's up 84%, 74% total, or 75, 76 total ETA. A few moments, we'll get there. Drive C, we got faith in you. Come on, don't let us down. Don't fail us now. Yeah, they drop off like flies all the time. That's all right. We got a few minutes. We got a few. We'll let this do its thing. This is painful sometimes when this stuff, but hey, it's got to go down, you know, that's the way it is. So here's where we are with it. Is it gonna boot? It's scanned and repaired. Where are we at with it now? Okay. Are we gonna get, yep, getting devices ready. Okay, so basically what's going on here, we took an install Windows 10 install on my M.2 SATA drive for my computer, my hardware. It's getting the hardware, basically the processor, the RAM, other stuff that concerning this computer, the hardware of this computer is getting ready. Whatever drivers Windows has, it will load them in and hopefully boot up my drive without too many issues. Just another mark of reassurance. If we flip this over, we can see the light just blinking away on the crucial drive. So that's the good news, that it is indeed working. Bad news is it's being slow. I'm going to attribute that to, it's an Aura M.2 SATA drive, still kind of fast, but probably low RAM, 4 gigs, I think it said, 4 gigabytes of RAM on the computer with no way to increase it. There's no, look at that, oh my goodness, do you see that guy? That is an operative flat earth Santa. He found where they parked the sun at night. Evidence. If you don't believe it, believe it now. They found out where they parked the sun. Real deal. You heard it here first. Even if it sounds crazy, believe it. We gotta log in now, so let's get that part done. Like I said, it is my install, so logging in. That is a pretty scary thought, to boot up the hard drive, the system, on this weak Lenovo hardware. This is the drive that normally runs this live stream and the podcast. I'm telling you, the hardware of this computer, though, nowhere near equivalent to the hardware of this poor Lenovo. Nowhere near. Look at them icons. What a mess. Nowhere near what is needed for actually running the stream. I don't think we could do it. Maybe. Probably not. I think this is a door quad-core Atom. Alright, we've got a mouse. We do have a display out, so let's see if we can plug it in. Is it going to stress it out too much? And let's go over to the repair. You can still see the computer there, but can we send the display out? I think we need to do something on the actual display first, so let's try it. We need a blank spot. No, we're waiting on our right context menu to pop up. So we'll try and set our display. Display settings. Windows cannot access that program. That's one of the programs I have booting up, stored on a different hard drive in my computer. So, multiple displays, detect. Didn't detect another display. Is it really important right now? I don't think so. We're going to go with it like this. We're just going to attempt to get the data. Cancel. Okay, we have our flash drive. Let's unplug the HDMI. We're going to plug in our drive with our tools on. Over here, there it is. Plugged in. Let it recognize. Hey, we got some sound. That's good. Everything should be about loaded up. Hopefully we don't have a restart. That was painful. Alright, there's our drive. Let's go in and select our tools. We need Auto Backup 7 Pro. Right click, we're going to run it as admin. We're just going to do a backup to like the root of my C drive for this individual. As soon as the program starts up, backup data. And we're going to switch over to the D Windows drive. We will get a user profile. And let's put a check in for that user profile, D Windows. And let's go to this PC. C. We're going to make a folder. And we will call this one Lifeboat. Or not really, that's the person's name. I know there's a glare there, but we'll hit enter, save it. So that's our new folder, Lifeboat. We will hit OK. We're going to switch this just to the date. And back up in subfolder, put a check. Maybe you can see this. There we go. And next. I'm not sure, we'll hit next. We're just going to go with all the defaults. We want it to show us the size. Show total size before copy. So let's go ahead and launch our backup. I think that, yep, the name's gone. So it's going to take ownership. We're just backing up to our M.2 drive. We do have some room on there. We'll let the program. This Auto Backup 7 Pro, way nicer than and much more compatible with like all the current versions of Windows 10, like the different revisions. It works way better than Auto Backup 6 or whatever it was, the older version we used. I upgraded this a few months ago and have really been digging it ever since. So we got names going, so let's do this. We're gonna let total files size to copy 6.35 gigabytes. Launch it and go to town. We can see that we're getting somewhere, at least. There it is, 6. We have remaining size counting down, and the total size, copied size, and it's copying pretty quick. The tool's running on a USB, the flash drive, the tool on the flash drive is running on a USB 3 port, so it's running as quick as it should be. And we got names upon names. Anyhow, it is what it is. We'll put that there. We'll just zoom out. How about that? Anyhow, we'll let that copy. It's about done. Going to keep it up off of the bottom to let it run at least semi-cold. We don't want to set this down on the mouse pad, or we don't have the bottom on it. Just keeping it in the open air should be good for now. Yeah. We got a little over 3 gigs left. Pop that down and let it rest on our keyboard. And data retrieved so far. We can do a scan, backup, everything else. I have an external enclosure that will let me put that M.2 SATA drive in, no problem. Let's pull it back up. 2.6 gigs and counting down quickly. Best case scenario, we could take and reload this thing with Windows, have no issues about wiping out the install because we have his user data. Obviously, before we do that, we would consult with him and have him take a look through, make sure what he wanted is there. Programs won't be there, but data will be. Pictures, documents, music, movies, anything like that. Any data created by programs that he used should all be there, as long as it was kept in normal spots and not in hidden folders or on the root of C drive in a specially made folder. Yeah, that's awesome news. We got the data. If we would wipe it out, recommendation, if you find yourself in a situation like this and you're running your hard drive is a NAND chip on the board with 64 gigs of room and not much more room, and you have an M.2 slot, get your data backed up any way you can, reinstall Windows, but put an M.2 drive into your slot, something with more space than the 32 or 64 gig from factory, and it should run a little better for you. If you're lucky and you have an extra RAM slot that isn't populated, or some soldered on RAM with one slot that you could either populate or add more RAM to, that would be ideal. And you'll have a little bit better computer. But it's still either a dual core or a quad core Atom processor, like N3050, I think, is what I remember reading. Not exactly a lot. Not much of a powerhouse processor. Ultralight, good for stuff like this. Doesn't need much cooling. And what is the word? Backup job is finished. We got all 6.35 gigabytes of 6.35 gigabytes. We will hit exit. We know it's backed up on my C drive under Lifeboat, so we're going to take a look. We'll pop up File Explorer, go to this PC, double click on C, which is my 500 gig, and look for Lifeboat. Lifeboat is indeed right here. So there we have it. We've got the data. We'll pull this out, plug it into the external, and move on from there. Let's shut it down. Alright, hard drive's pulled out. Computer powering down. Alright, computer is off finally. Let's zoom that in a little. We'll pull out our CMOS battery. Let's get our M.2 drive back out of this. His moving up to, I think, a 15.6 inch, or we'll leave the screw in case he decides to do something with it. A 15.6 inch or 17 inch laptop. 17, I'm looking at it now. Upgrading to that, so we'll get the data for that. But before we can do anything with the 17 inch, we have work to do there as well. So for now, we will reassemble this nuisance and call it a day. Let's put our warranty sticker back here. Our screw with the warranty sticker. And get the one under there. And we should be a-okay. We've got our battery for the BIOS CMOS. UEFI firmware. We have our system battery plugged in. Everything else. Let's open this up and make sure the keyboard is indeed plugged in and latched in where it needs to be. It seems to be. Undo the latch and yep, relatch it. It's good. Alright, and the rest of this. Yeah, an upgrade to this with an M.2, it'd make it a nice little like bathroom machine, or take it out to the beach so you don't have your good one out there, take it on a plane. But I definitely wouldn't keep running from that internal NAND chip, that eMMC drive. No way. Not if something happens to it or ends up corrupted, infected, whatever you want to call it again. Yeah, we're at a loss for it being able to boot, and do we want to smash our head against the wall just to clean it up? No, he's moving to something else. At the very least, we will take some time and reload it, and he can make choices from there if he wants to do anything. Yeah, I'm not going to say stay away, because some of them are good computers. I would call this an okay one, but just be aware of what you're buying. Is it a cheap price? Is it a cheap price to buy the computer when it's not Cyber Monday or Black Friday? Are you getting it for $100, $200, barely over $200, like $150, $139, or like $239? you may be buying into a cut corner system or a system that you're locked into with no potential upgrade path for the future. And some people are okay with that. The disposable computers, people love buying them, they throw them away and get a new one when it gets messed up. Other people want to, if they buy the computer, they want to run it for 5, 6, 10, 12 years. I couldn't see this thing running in 12 years, but I could be very wrong on that. Anyhow, let's wrap this up. Have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Thank you for clicking the link coming over. Dunny, thanks for hanging for the time you were here. Electric screwdriver someday. Run it back. There's some stuff in there. I found out where they parked the sun. I showed evidence. So watch the playback. Okay, and a little bit of cleanup. Just a little bit of cleanup. Let's zoom this back out. I'm going to house our drive back in there and put this back away. True, it's not brand new, but it hasn't exactly been used and we couldn't boot to it, so back on the hook. Back on the hook. We do have customers' data on that. I would say his data is crucial, and crucial did indeed save the day. So let's get this thing in an enclosure for now. That's how we can scan and inspect, check out our this customer's data. Yeah, we can do all that on any computer that we can plug it into. So successful day. We got the data. Now we have to try and get data from another account of a deceased person, somebody that has passed away, and we don't have the password for their account. I haven't looked. I don't know if it's an online or offline account yet, but we'll figure that out in the next stream, unless something more prevalent comes up, but I don't see that being the case. Alright, very quickly, alright, we have my boot drive from my computer in an external case. Awesome. Let's find a cable and get you poor little Lenovo out of the way. And we'll grab the Happy Mac. Alright, we got the password in real quick. We're not going to do this on Mac. I just want to see that we can read our drive from this external, just to be sure. It should mount, hopefully, somewhere, some way. Blinky light, looks good. We don't want to use it as a time machine backup. Pop up this untitled drive on the root of the drive. Is it here? Is it here? We do indeed have. Get over here, drive. Don't unmount on me. Don't fail me now. We do indeed have lifeboat, as you can hopefully see in the center of the screen. Lifeboat. Right there it is. We will unhighlight it. And that's that. Okay, so we've got the data. We have the data, and yeah, we'll get it scanned. Let him check it out. If good, we'll reload the little Lenovo for him. Like I said, another stream. We have to do the other computer. So have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for hanging out, commenting. We'll see you next time. I know I already said it. I like to repeat myself, but hey, that's what we do here. Have fun with it. Have fun yourself. Fix something. Give somebody a hand doing it if it's what you do and you're into. You don't always have to buy new. Fix something up. Get it working. Revive it. Make a hybrid like I did for the HP from last night, early this morning, whatever you want to call it, stream. Anyhow, we'll see you then. How do we end this? How do we end it? Do it. That one? It is. It is that one.